My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends? I'm just trying to make you some money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate and teach you. So call me, 1-800-743-CNBC, or tweet me at Jim Cramer. When you talk to grizzled veterans about this market, as I do, they all pretty much say the same thing. With unemployment spiking to record levels, we're hearing 47 million people could lose their jobs, resulting in 32% unemployment. Stocks will soon collapse under their own weight. According to Morgan Stanley, we could be looking at a 25% contraction in our gross domestic product. My money manager friends were all glued to their machines Sunday. Glued them. Why? Of course, like every Sunday night, they expected the futures to be down the limit. So how the heck could the market rally today? I mean, Dow gaining 699 points, S&P climbing 3.35%, NASDAQ pole vaulting 3.62%. Simple. Because American science is at last in play. Science that may allow us to not only contain this virus, but actually one day beat the darn thing. Look, I by no means want to disparage the extraordinary efforts we're making to get the pandemic under control, to bend the curve, so to speak. It's absolutely essential. It's why I've been calling for a national lockdown, much as it may rankle some. We still have too many people gallivanting around like nothing's wrong. More than 1,200 New Yorkers have died from this thing in a matter of weeks, most of them in the last few days, and they all got it from someone. New York City's a travesty. The mayor waited way too long to impose the lockdown. Now we're all paying for it. So I think a nationwide shelter-in-place order would make a huge difference in the course of this pandemic. I want a nationwide travel ban, too, except for medical professionals. It's true that traffic has dropped precipitously, but there's still too much of it. We need people to stay in place, not spread this thing everywhere. We also need to solve this mask conundrum. On Friday, we spoke to the CEO of Owens & Minor. He said hospitals that normally order 20,000 masks are now ordering 200 to 300,000. Now, the president suggested this weekend when he had the same executive in the Rose Garden that these hospitals must be doing something maybe even nefarious with them because the orders were so huge. Actually, I think it's a spike in demand. Spike in demand simply because nurses and doctors constantly need to change their masks to stop this insidious virus from spreading. That's why we need 1 billion masks and gowns. That must be our goal. 1 billion masks and gowns, and we should do whatever it takes to make them or get them or procure them. I don't care. It's unbearable seeing in America doctors and nurses wearing garbage bags because they don't have enough personal protective equipment. Shame on us. We have to be better than that. Most importantly, we need testing, and then we need testing and more testing. We happen to have Abbott Labs on tonight, and they just rolled out a 5-minute test for COVID-19. That's the game changer. Maybe it'll finally let us get ahead of this. Once we can tell who has the disease and who's recovered from it, we can start gradually opening up our economy again. Finally, until we lick this thing, we need a 90-day pledge from big business that they won't lay off workers as long as the government can help pay some of their costs. It's a tough nut to crack, though, as some businesses just can't afford it. Witness Macy's furloughing nearly all of their 130,000 employees. That's how you can contain this pandemic and help mitigate some of the economic damage. But so far, we haven't been doing that great a job. So what explains this rally in the face of some truly grim predictions? At the end of the day, bending the curve won't beat this virus. We have to do it because it could save millions of lives, but it's not a long-term solution. There's only one thing that can stop this economy from tumbling into a coronavirus-induced depression, and that is science. We need a cure or a vaccine, and in the last 24 hours, we've gotten some serious go-aheads when it comes to potential treatments. First, the FDA granted emergency approval for hydroxychloroquine. There are some preliminary but non-peer-reviewed studies suggesting this anti-malaria drug can potentially stop COVID-19 in its tracks, especially when combined with the Z-Pack, azithromycin. We know what it is, the Z-Pack. And that's an antibiotic. Now, I'm a little skeptical on this one. We know the president is hopeful, very hopeful about this combination. These are old-school malaria drugs. They're no joke, but the side effects can be severe. Honestly, at things are bad enough that I think it's worth prescribing this stuff to coronavirus victims who don't have pre-existing heart conditions. But please understand, there are lots of people, really competent doctors, who say this is a dangerous combination. So please, get excited, but don't get too excited. But get excited about this. This morning, Alex Gorski, the CEO of Johnson & Johnson, talked about how his company's developing a vaccine that could be available early next year. The best part, the scale. He's talking about 1 billion doses, not 50,000, not 1 billion. That doesn't do us any good now, but it could be our salvation next year if nothing better comes along, because this scourge is going to be back. You can't wipe this thing out in 6 months. It's coming back. Maybe we have something for it when it does. I wouldn't rule out something better, though. Roche is testing Activase. It's a stroke drug. Could work against COVID-created blood clots in the lungs. Perhaps the most promising, the work Regeneron's doing with monoclonal antibodies that directly target this virus. I think Regeneron may be our best hope of beating this thing and allowing everyone to go back to work. Maybe one of Gilead's antivirals will work against this thing, too, although my money is on Regeneron. Of course, the clock is ticking. I know the $2.2 trillion economic life support package will help millions of people get through the next month. The provision that allows employers to get loan forgiveness if they keep their employees on the rolls is genius. It's going to really help the small business person and the people who work there. But we need some insurance. We need something big that will help working people, especially healthcare workers. That's why we need to spend a lot more money. Issue a massive 30-year COVID war bond if we have to. Treasuries currently yield next to nothing. The bond market's desperate to give our government money. The market would lap up a $500 billion beat the COVID bond with a decent coupon. Come on, Mr. Secretary Mnuchin, cue it up. The main thing, though, is that the federal government needs to spend. I know we're starting to hear about something that plagued President Obama's stimulus package, shovel-ready projects. Oh, give me a break. We simply cannot afford to go down that path. We don't need to get the best bang for our buck with the stimulus. We just need to give people money. That's it. In most of Europe, governments are just paying 100% of people's wages for the duration. If we want to avoid a depression while we wait for the scientists to come up with something, that's the kind of thing we need to see. Think big. I've been saying it from day one. Most importantly, we want testing and then testing and more testing. Forget shovel-ready infrastructure projects. I want a testing center on every block so that we know who's healthy, who's sick, and who's immune because they've already recovered. I want their blood. In the end, the way to defeat this thing is to stay at home, get tested when you don't feel well, maintain physical distance, wash your hands, get tested at home. It won't get people hired, but it just might keep you alive. I know it's bleak. I'm a natural optimist, and I felt it today. Separated from my wife, my 28-year-old daughter, who's an English teacher stuck in Madrid, of all places. Watching our healthcare system implode right before our eyes is devastating. Glad bags. Glad bags. Glad bags. America, glad bags. But the bottom line, today the market says that maybe, just maybe, there could be some hope. Unfortunately, tomorrow's another day. Let's go to Andrew in New York, please. Andrew.
Hi, Jim. I just wanted to first say that I'm an anesthesiologist, and things are really tough here in New York. But if everyone does their part, like you said on a previous show, wash hands, stay away, we can get through this.
I am with you. We are all with you. You are our frontline soldiers, and thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you.
My pleasure, Jim. Anyway, my stock is United Healthcare. It's up quite a bit from its lows last week. Did I miss my opportunity, or is it okay to start a position at this level?
I would actually prefer you to wait. I think this one is one, it's not that expensive, but it's one that just had a huge bounce in a V. They tend to pull back a little, go a little more W-ish, and then you'll be able to buy. I'd rather have you wait for this one. Let's go to Bill in Texas, please. Bill.
Hey, Jim. Booyah.
Booyah.
So United Airlines seems to have had the biggest swing these past couple of weeks compared to the other airlines. With the help of this recent bailout and talk today with the DOT, can we expect some decent growth soon, or should we expect to see another significant drop?
Well, remember, you have no customers, and you have a lot of costs. But my friend James B. Stewart was on Friday, and he was speculating that, listen, do you go for the most down and outers? Well, you're looking at it. So I may say this, United, just so you know, it's different from, say, Carnival. People will want to fly someday. Let's go to Cynthia in Massachusetts, please. Cynthia.
Hi, Jim. My question is about Bed Bath & Beyond. I started buying it at about $15 a share in January. through to recently, and I'm down about 55%.
Right.
It's in the news that it's been downgraded by the S&P by a couple notches, and that the stores are closing in the U.S. and Canada until April sometime, until further notice. What should I do with this stock?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is like many a retailer. Had there not been COVID, I think that the term would be self-evident. With COVID, it's just a house of pain. COVID changed the game for retailers. And unless you're in one of the 5 or 6 retailers that I've been talking about that are going to take over the world, a company that I like Bed Bath on a turn, it can't turn. We got to solve this illness. The only thing that can beat this virus and stop the economy from falling is science. And we're starting to see some promising progress on that front. In the last 72 hours, it's been quite heartening. On Mad Money tonight, Abbott Labs received emergency FDA approval for its rapid COVID-19 test, which can tell if someone is infected in as little as 5 minutes and is small enough to be used in almost any healthcare setting. Can you imagine? We're going to sit down with the CEOs, yes, old and new, to talk about the breakthrough. Then I've discovered the company benefiting the most from the current environment. I'll reveal it just ahead. And I'm talking to the co-CEO of SAP about how the company's uniquely positioned to help companies adapt to the new normal in the workplace. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.